Welcome to the I Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Dubston, and it is wonderful to have you here with me for our weekly I Ching forecast for the week commencing this time, the 22nd of September, 2024. Yes, September is barreling its way through. So before we get into what the I Ching is asking us to pay attention to this week, we always cast our minds back to the week before. What can we learn? What can we take from the flows of change that were brought to us? And we had that magnificent combination of hexagram 30, radiance shining bright, 14, abundance and wealth, a wonderful changing line asking us to go for it. So what unlocked for you last week? What came to your mind? What brought its abundance, blessings, and its shining bright to you last week? I was wondering, what are we going to experience and work through with this hexagram? How are we going to interact with these two very interesting, powerful blessings? What does it mean for us? Do we see the blessings in the week itself, or do we connect to the blessings? Or are the blessings the culmination of work long done before that make itself known in this moment? And I had interesting two facets to this. I had one, a huge opportunity pop out of the sky, totally unexpected. And what it did, besides the opportunity, what it might mean, it also brought an awareness that something that I'm doing is right. It's churning up the right kind of thing. So that was, for me, a tick on these hexagrams. The second part was also being quite confronted with myself and my thoughts around my future and abundance. There were some issues that came up where I thought I really need to get myself in hand and change the picture that I have and the fears I might have sitting within those. So both a development and an opportunity in the blessing that came up for me. And I look forward to hearing your comments on how these two hexagrams, radiance or the clinging, and abundance and possession of great measure, came to bless you in this past week. Do share. Okay, this week, what is the I Ching drawing our attention to as we work with the flows of change? Well, our first hexagram for this week is hexagram 22, grace. This is a very interesting hexagram, aren't they all? Okay, the structure of the hexagram, the top trigram is mountain and the bottom trigram is fire. So we still got fire energy from last week, but now the top external world is now mountain. The image that's created for this that can help us understand what is happening with this hexagram is the light rising, and as it's rising, it's shining on the mountain, okay, and illuminating the beauty of the mountain. I love thinking about this image because I live near a very beautiful mountain where in the sunrise in the early morning, you can't see anything before the sunrise rather, and as the sun starts coming up, the light starts playing along the beautiful mountain and the rocks, and the light changes and moves. And so what you start to see is the magnificence of the mountain really highlighted and brought to your attention, right? It just, the colors and the softness of it is just wonderful. And once we hit noon and the sun is in its full force, you don't quite get that magnificence of that gentle light playing against shadows and cracks and crevices. So when I think of this hexagram, I think of that imagery, that feeling of the sunrise hitting the mountain. And what this hexagram aims to bring our attention to is the beautifying and embellishing of the substance. So it's not form over substance, it's form on top of substance. It's giving what's valuable its day in the sun, literally, it's day in the sunrise. And so what we do when we work with this hexagram is we're challenged to unpack our thinking and our reality around how we present ourselves, how we present our work, how we present our ideas to others, to the world. This can literally be the makeover hexagram, okay? Go and have that makeover and present yourself in a new way without getting into the headspace of, I have value and why do I have to beautify the outside, right, to show the value. That's what this hexagram is trying to get us to unravel, is that by embellishing and beautifying the physical, okay, what we're doing is we're amplifying the beauty that's inside, okay? And I speak in generalized terms that one of the things that as women we have to go through in culture is wrestling with that idea of, because we wear makeup and we do our hair, we like wearing nice clothes just like men do, okay? So it's not stereotyping women as being the only ones who love to dress, and also stereotyping women as all women who love to dress. This is kind of just an idea, is wrestling with this kind of social norm of, why do I have to embellish my outside? I'm good enough. I'm beautiful enough on the inside. Why do I have to make the outside beautiful? And so this hexagram really brings our attention to those types of issues, helps to bring healing to them, and it's about giving what's already valuable time to shine and amplifying and focusing on texturizing, okay, what's there already. Okay, so that's a discussion for another day. So when we work with this hexagram, we look at how do we make the form, how do we give what's on the inside its due credit by putting attention and effort to how things are presented. How are we dressed? Are we neat, tidy and clean? Do we present well? Do we speak well? Do we present ourselves in the best possible light? This hexagram is often useful when we are needing to pitch an idea or do a presentation or produce a piece of work, put ourselves forward for promotion. And what it says is embellish the outside, okay? Find ways of beautifying the outside of the thing to allow the inside to shine. A great example in a work context to help you see this from a different point of view, not going for a glam makeover, is I had a friend many years ago who had created a training course. We worked with a question for her on I Ching, and it came up with this hexagram, 22 grace. And I said to her, what I feel this hexagram is saying to you is that the course that you've developed, like written in a Word document, very plain, spiral bound, okay, very plain, not very interesting to look at, but the quality of the work, of the training materials, and how she put it together were top class. And I said to her, what this hexagram is saying to you, to get the most value out of the thing that you have made, is make it look on the outside in a way that matches what's on the inside. So make it look pretty, okay? Put it in a proper binding, have a cover made, think about how you do the design of the inside so it doesn't just look like a Word document with header styles that's been printed out. Make it beautiful, okay? Give your work a chance to shine like the mountain is made to look really magnificent because the light is shining upon it. And so that's what we think about this week. When we focus on this hexagram, it's come up to bring our attention to an area where we need to do that in our lives. It might be that training material, right? It might be a presentation you're pitching. It might be yourself. It might be your home. Think about this in a broad perspective. Where this is needing to come to you, it will pop into your mind. That's how it works. We don't have to hunt it down so vigorously. We can just stay open, and what it is will go whoop, okay, and will come into our minds. That's what we have to do this week. Make it beautiful, because that shines light of the substance that's already there. One changing line in the fifth position, a position of strength. An interesting changing line, because what this changing line says is there's an opportunity to connect with a group, with a family, with a clan, with a new group of people that you're needing to engage with. And in order to bring yourself to that clan, you need to make an offering, right? It's like bringing a bridal dowry, okay, to the new family and saying, I come and bring my daughter in marriage, and here's a dowry as a gift to bring my offering, okay? And what you realize is the gift that you have, the thing that is your dowry, the thing that's in this trunk, is not jewels and gold and glistening gems, okay? It's a very, very simple offering. It's what you can bring. It's something very simple. And you feel embarrassed about that, right? Oh, I'm never going to get in if I only bring this humble, simple thing. And there is a risk of feeling embarrassed by it. But what this line says, do not fret about that. Okay, do not fret about what it is that you have to offer. Offer it anyway. Be sincere and bring with confidence the thing that you have to the table, without head tripping that it's not enough. I'm not good enough. It's not big enough. There are not enough diamonds. This isn't a huge dowry that is going to gain us acceptance into this group. I'm going to be rejected. I'm going to be laughed at. This line says you might feel embarrassed, but do it anyway, because blessings and the connection come and the acceptance comes and joy flows from it. So perhaps we are confronted this week. Our development, because part of this focus we do with the I Ching is how do we grow up? Some area of our lives we are holding ourselves back because we're not growing. And the changing lines and the hexagrams come to help us, just shift us forward a little bit in a particular area. This week we're being shifted in how we think about what we have to offer, overcoming our perhaps self-esteem issues, our concerns, our fears of rejection, our fears that we don't have enough abundance, right? We have to put that all aside and offer the simple blessing we have to bring as it is. This is what I have. This is all I can give. This is all I can contribute. This is what I can bring to the table. This is what I can bring to this group. Offer it up simply and go for it. Blessings unlock because of it. So with that changing line in mind, and there being only one changing line, our second hexagram, which is linked to that changing line very closely, is hexagram 37, the family. The family is a hexagram which speaks about the importance of the family unit. And there's multiple facets to this, as there are for every hexagram. On the one hand, it represents the importance of the family all being bound together around the same set of values. You often hear in the text about the mother or the woman being the center, the yin being the center of the clan. And I often think about, how in families around gatherings on holidays and festive times, everyone lands up in the kitchen, Mom is cooking or the females of the house are cooking. We're not stereotyping, we're just building this image, okay? The women are cooking and everyone's in the kitchen. Everyone lands up standing around in the kitchen and talking. And there's this kind of process of the journey of cooking and of the hearth fire, those old agar stoves that used to be in the old days where that was the center of the house. The whole kitchen and then the whole house was built around this hearth, whether that was an agar or even before that, a big pit. So it's the idea of this process of cooking, this process of caretaking being at the center of the family, binding everyone together. We might all have different political views and different views, but when we all are in that kitchen and mom is cooking, okay, and there's this energy of us all being together, it's a wonderful moment of bonding that happens in families. And families work when there's a central thing that binds everyone together, whether that's your value system, whether it's the mother, whether that's just a sense of family history, whatever it is that binds families together, creates structure, creates harmony. That's what this hexagram tries to bring our attention to. And what it draws us towards is finding ways of binding the family together. Now, a family can be a family like an actual clan, right, or physical, genetic, material family. It can be adopted families and friends, groups of friends. It can be your work family. It's people who are working and living together, and how we create harmony and how we work together to achieve something as a family, as a tribe. Okay, fire is a very central idea to this as well, binding everyone around that fire, around that hearth fire. The other part of family is that families work when everyone understands their roles and responsibilities and does what they need to do. This we can see and understand very clearly in a work environment, right? Where if you have a subordinate a few levels down trying to be the CEO, okay, and trying to make decisions and take power away from the parent at the top of the food chain, you have some problems, okay? You have hierarchy issues, you have disagreements, you have things being upside down and not in flow. And so the traditional view of a family of mother and father at the top, the authority figures, and the children, need to be seen and not heard. Okay, those kind of old stereotypes are not what we're talking about. But what we are talking about is that the structure of the family, the hierarchy of the family, whether that's a work family or a home family, needs to be in check. And everyone needs to fulfill their roles, not just stay in their lane, okay, right? But also fulfill their responsibilities in the family. So you might find part of this week is having to deal with people who are wrestling their power muscle, okay, wanting to have authority in the family that is not theirs. You might have to deal with making sure someone is fulfilling their responsibilities, their contribution to the family, okay? Everyone's got to make their contribution. When you're making the meal, okay, mother might be in charge, but that one's chopping onions and that one's prepping the wine or whatever. So everyone's got a job. Everyone must do the job that they are allocated. And the same in our work environment, you might find there's a little bit of adjustment of putting someone back in place, or maybe for yourself, putting yourself back in place of fulfilling the responsibilities you are there to do and not overstep the boundary. This is all about hierarchy when we think about families, okay? And as much as you may or may not like it, structure within societal environments is important and keeps us all from killing each other, okay? So that's why we have to focusing on the structure, okay? That the structure works and everyone's on their right place and is doing what they're supposed to do. Okay, so when we work with this week, when we bring it together, we see that part of our process this week is by beautifying what we have. Even if it's a simple offering and we feel a little bit ashamed or embarrassed that we can't offer more, that we aren't bringing something to a bigger power, perhaps we are leaving behind lower pursuits, right? People who are after the glam, and we're wanting to move towards something that's more meaningful, more powerful, and that means stepping into a new group, a new family, presenting what we have to offer to this higher group, okay, that we feel a little bit awkward about bringing what we have. We have to do it because the blessings are unlocked because we do. We have the importance of being part of a family, part of a clan, the value and the beauty that comes when we feel connected to a tribe, whether it's a work tribe, friend tribe, DNA tribe, whatever you want to call it. When we feel connected to a group of people who've got our back, everyone is there, there's support, we're together. You know, there's possibly wonderful opportunities in this week to have quality family time, whether that's your work family or other. And so let's lean into it. Lean into the blessings that gives you. Lean into the energy that it brings you. Don't be afraid that your offering is small, because it's not about that. It's about bring what you can. And you'll be surprised what that other family is looking for, that you are the perfect one to solve. Goldilocks this week. It's going to happen. All right, have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for being with me. Of course, thumbs and a like would be great if this was meaningful to you. And as always, if you are new to the channel, subscribe, hit the bell so you get the notifications, the follow button on the podcast version. And I look forward to seeing you next week for our last weekly overview for September before we start heading into October. This is speeding up this year. Indeed it is. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you soon.